So we are now recording. Audrey, it's so nice to see you. As I was seeing you earlier, yeah. So like I was just saying, the main reason why I wanted to, pardon me, reach out to you, besides that, I was concerned with your profession, was that the first time I met you. I like going back there because it wasn't my favorite first meeting of somebody who I'm friends with, only because I felt so horrible. I felt so horrible. And I thought for sure you hated me because I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to do that to you, but I'm sorry. And then when I got a chance to meet you again, I felt grateful that I was able to tell you and talk about that kind of, and just be like, I just want you to know and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, you're super like awesome, easygoing person. So obviously when I met you in that specific moment, wasn't your most favorite, comfortablest, natural moment. And so you were like, but what's cool is just spending time with you, and a big part of it was knowing some of your good friends who are absolutely such beautiful, amazing people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay, so this is good. And that's when I got excited. That's why when you're like, I don't know, I can only maybe come once in a while, once a week, I'm like, I don't even care. I really don't. Like, just please.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because to me, that's you being like I said, from my limited experience, but from also being not complete idiot, knowing the people you're around, you're very selfless. You're very genuine. Your heart is probably way bigger than sometimes you feel comfortable with it being. Like, because I have that issue too. I'm like, man, I wish I was mean sometimes.
Yeah.
I didn't feel so much because it hurts sometimes. But you were one of the people that immediately, when I got a second chance to make a first impression, I got to meet more of the whole of you, and it was so awesome. And I was so like, in a selfish way, I was, yep, I need her to be in my life, however little it is, however much it is, because I also knew if just talking to you for 5, 10, 15, an hour, whatever, is going to make me feel that way, that's what I want the members of my gym to be able to experience. That's what I want people to experience. And I think that is, I know this, most people who I say this to, because of the nature of you, you're not like, oh, come on, you know what I mean? But that's another thing. I don't know if you're fully aware of the impact you make on people by you just being you. And you just by you, not just, I'm minimizing it, but you having such an amazing heart and such an easy ability to connect with people, and your authenticity. And I think, we're all humans, and we're all, like, I feel weird when people keep talking like about frontline workers as, heroes. I'm like, that's going to give them a complex, because most of those people don't do that because they have God complexes, unless they're surgeons. Joking, kind of not. I worked with a lot of surgeons. I understand the mentality of why you kind of have to be like that as a surgeon, but the good surgeons actually incorporate nurses and other doctors. Beside the point. So your natural state of being, or the state that you work at being most of the time, which I think that's what it really is very much appreciated. I am very much grateful for it, and I love it. And that's why I wanted to, and I felt guilty for bugging you. And I'm like telling Olivia, I'm like, you reach out to her, because I know she's busy, and I'm not going to feel guilty, because if I reach out anytime, I'm like, and also because this project of interviewing people and connections in general for me are a God thing. your availability would be when it was available. And if it wasn't available, the fact that I reached out was my part, you know, and I was well aware, as long as I do what I am called to do, which is let you know that you're amazing and awesome and I appreciate you, not for anything you do, just the way you are. The stuff you do is like beyond, like that's when you're, all right, that's pretty cool. But you as a human, you as Audrey is so, I just want to share that with people. So that's the main purpose of recording this, because a lot of people won't be able to meet you on a normal basis. And I think, yes, there's something to be said about you meet people when you meet them. But I also believe God works through people. And one of my big things is connecting and there's a reason why I'm a human unicorn with excitement when it comes to people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you are. Absolutely.
And so for years, like I was embarrassed by it. I was ashamed of it because I'm supposed to be a guy and I'm not very manly when it comes to that. Half the time, that's why I don't shave, because I'm like, see, I'm a man. I can grow facial hair. But it's all those the things I told myself, instead of embracing and being like, wow, this is probably the biggest gift God has given me, is that I feel so deeply that when I meet people who are awesome, kick booty, I'm like, I just want people to meet them. I just want, and I understand not everybody's going to get along and not everybody's going to, whatever, for whatever reason. But that's kind of why, like, because half the time when I started doing these videos, I really was like, I'm just really interviewing myself and talking. And so I'd literally say, all right, God, before every video I do on my YouTube channel for me and you guys, like when I do interviews, I say, God, just guide me. And hopefully somebody gets something out of it. Because for me, the process is making me a better human and reminding me of actually how good I really was without changing my beliefs to match my actions. So now my actions are matching my beliefs, because I've always been sensitive. I've always been caring, and I've always been like, okay, that one is amazing. Everybody needs to know her. Yes, that's embarrassing for some people. I understand that. And you are not a, hey, I need everybody's eyes on me person. But I think understanding just some of the qualities you have, or taking a moment maybe to recognize, instead of viewing it that way, recognizing some of the gifts God gave you. Maybe. Oh, look at it that way. That's kind of tough. And, you're beautiful inside and out. You're friendly. You're caring. You're thoughtful. You're like all these amazing things. You're hardworking. You're dedicated. You're a good learner. You're naturally freaking athletic at weightlifting. That was kind of humbling, but also at the same point, like exciting for me, because just watching you move, I was like, oh man, that's good. And then of course you're like most people, your brain got involved and you're like, wait, what do I do? How do I stand up? This is weird.
Seriously, that is true.
I know, it's fun, but I think that's my main purpose. Really, it's my main purpose in life, is to add value to people's lives, or remind them of what value is, or give them not to change anybody's anything, but to give them another point of view, and give them, because one of those things, like you said, in your profession, it's just, well, I don't know how the internal monologue goes, but it's probably got to go something like, well, I'm going to do it anyway, so we're just going to figure it out. And it's but that's not everybody's natural state. And so the fact that God blessed you and knows that you're able to handle that, I know sometimes it's like, dude, okay, you can think I'm a badass a little bit less. Like, that's cool. We're good. You can give me a pass for a couple of days. Like, But so, you know, like I said, that was my main reason to reach out to you in the first place is I know I said it a little bit, but I wasn't fully connected with, I just wasn't fully connected with it. I wasn't as emotionally, spiritually, and mentally available at the time to be removed from the outcome. So a lot of times, like for whatever reason, like with Olivia doing her weightlifting meet, the outcome was nowhere near important to me. I didn't care. The fact that she made the decision to do it was absolutely amazing. So like that's when I know it's a selfless thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody's gonna, like, I don't have a million followers, I don't have anything like that, but people keep still agreeing to these interviews. And so it's kind of like, okay, God keeps guiding me to do it with amazing people, and all I'm really doing is think, like, it'll pop in my head, or I saw a video of you in that back room doing some lifts, and I was like, oh man, I have to reach out to her.
Oh.
And that's because I'm available now spiritually and emotionally. I'm not as embarrassed or insecure to say, hey, I think you're an amazing person. And, you know, I partially because being a guy, that can be kind of weird to say to a woman. But I think also for the most part, because of how God made me, I am not intimidating. I'm not sketch. I'm not like creeper dude. And I think that's one of those things. Like it makes sense now that I've never been super masculine and super like overbearing or anything, because I think people would respond to me a lot differently. They wouldn't just be accepting of, all right, so what do you want, Jeff?
Yeah.
So, yeah, now I know you said, because you had surgery on your foot when?
I had surgery on my foot December 13th.
Okay, so December 13th. Now,
Yeah.
what was your time frame for full recovery?
So I had a bunionectomy on my left foot. I've had bunions since I was like as far as I can remember, but I got the left one removed and fixed then, and then I was pretty much like off work for 2 months. Then I went back to work, and ever since then I've kind of slowly been getting back into working out, but nothing CrossFit, but I just do stuff in my own, you know. Well, I was going back to the gym when the gyms were open for about a month. I did that. But yeah, it's been slow recovery, but it's okay. I'm not super like, you know, trying to run a marathon or squat 300 pounds, but
That's probably good right now.
yeah, it's okay. It's done all right, but I have to say thank you for everything you said about me. I think that's, you know, but like you said, it doesn't come from me. It comes from God, everything. And my parents too, they instilled everything on me. But thank you. I mean, I have to thank you now for opening your arms to me at CrossFit Novi. That was amazing, because I hadn't had a CrossFit family. My first CrossFit gym I started at closed down due to financial reasons, and I loved that gym. And then when I started CrossFit, was up at college. I graduated, so I had to leave there, which that was hard. And then so I kind of stopped CrossFit for some health reasons, and when that gym shut down, I kind of like was like just stepped away from CrossFit and just did like some more like bodybuilding stuff, maybe a little powerlifting. I was like, I kind of want to go back and do CrossFit like once a week, and just for the community mostly. And Olivia is like one of my best friends. So yeah, it was awesome that you were able to, kind of invite me back in one day a week. And then I got surgery, so then that kind of stopped that, and that's where I am now.
That's awesome. And you're like I said, you're more than welcome. I think for me, it's what I like is your demeanor of, okay, like I don't feel rush from you. Does that make sense? I don't know a better way to explain that. I don't feel anxiety like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and the comfort and ease that gives me, it like that's, I think, a big thing is I didn't recognize that's what it is you're like, listen, I kind of, it was for a good reason to step away from the gym. I had to
Mm-hmm.
change some stuff, but instead of being anxious about it or well, what does this mean and this and that, it was okay, this is what it is. And okay, I'm here. It's almost like you're very present.
Mm-hmm.
But which of course, when you're present, there's not anxiety because you don't have regret or disappointment from the past, and you don't have expectation and fear of the future. You're just like, okay, we're here right now.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a wonderful gift. And also, like you said, parents and nature and nurture. It's a
Mm-hmm.
combination. But I
Yeah.
think too, you do have parts to play in it because you're available for that. Not everybody is.
Yeah.
Because it's almost a paradox because you're also kind of a driven person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you do
Yeah.
realize that that's a kind of a weird combination, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely have like, I mean, I know I'm not a very rushed person, but I definitely like to stay busy, and I definitely, my mom was always told me that I do too much. And I think that's why I loved CrossFit so much, because it was so, it was so busy, and, you can train for like 2 hours a day and never run out of things to do. But it was really hard to give it up. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's a time and place for that. But the point I'm at now, like where I'm at now, like it took me a long time to get there. It's not like overnight I was okay with just like giving up CrossFit and like especially getting my surgery. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to, lose my fitness level. And it took me a long time to kind of just say, you know what, like your level of fitness is not the most important thing about you. Because I feel like I was kind of surrounded by a lot of people for a long time that really worshipped, like, oh, what was your Fran time? Or, oh, like, are you eating clean enough? Or, oh, like, we're going to get shredded. Like, oh, like, we're going to go work out for 4 hours. Like, oh, we can't go. Like, just kind of like living like life with fitness at the center rather than it being like a, something that is a part of you and not all of you. So it kind of took me like a long time to kind of like step away from that. And I think with CrossFit is great. I love it. But I do think the nature of it and how competitive it is and how intense it is, like it can really make people with certain personalities kind of get obsessed with it. And I mean, there's a line between like driven and obsessed. Like if you are putting that before your family, before other priorities, before your finances, before, your mental health, before your physical health, like that's a problem. Like you have to put all those things. And like same with like, your faith too, like that. And I feel like for me, it took me a long time, and I feel like I just kind of had to step away for a while. And now, like, I don't know, I think I'm just very grateful for like the things that I went through to kind of like step away from the gym and not have it be like something that defines me or makes me like live my whole life around it and keeps me so busy that to the point where I don't know, I just feel like I mean, I always had a little balance going on. It's never like I was so obsessed, but it was kind of, I put other things on the back burner that should have been on the front burner. So that's just kind of my 2 cents. And that's kind of how I've gotten to be like where I am about having a very like laid back mindset about fitness. I'm kind of like, oh, well, like I'll always be passionate about it. I still love working out. I always tell my boyfriend if I don't get my workouts in, I'll be a pretty angry, or negative Nancy. But, if I can get my like hour in 4 days, maybe 5 days a week, maybe 6 on I'll be happy. And now it's like, I don't need to go kill myself for an hour. I can just do an hour of moderate lifting, or, you know, like 20 minutes of cardio. So it's just like, I just am like got a lot better position with it, but it took me like over a year to get there. So.
Well, and I think I love that you can recognize that, because it's almost like a seamless part of you, but you're like, oh, it wasn't seamless. Oh
No,
no, no,
absolutely
no.
no. No,
And
I was pretty cliche CrossFit obsessed for a while, but I mean, I'm
remember,
not saying.
that's the first time I met you. That's why the first time I met you, I was like, the second time I met you, I went, she seems a lot happier, but maybe it's because she's not in the middle of the workout that she's not doing well at.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I got to CrossFit Novi, I pretty much accepted that I was not in great shape, but I was okay with it. You know, I was like, whatever, like I'm here, I'm still kicking butt, I'm still moving weight, sweating, breathing hard. Like that's what matters. You know, I wasn't the most fit person in the gym. You know, you look at those other girls at CrossFit Novi, and I would kind of get a little sad because I'm like, wow, that could be me now. That could have been me, but I mean, we're all different. We all have different levels that we're at. And I think like accepting that, but like knowing where you're at, and, you know, if you want to be competitive, like try to be competitive, but as long as it's in a healthy way.
Yeah, and 100%, exactly like what you just said about having the gym be where I get everything from.
No,
It
yeah,
can't be. And so to an extent, you were gently forced to reassess that because you weren't really able to do the way you wanted to do it. And I was the same way. And I think to me, that's the subtlety or not so subtlety of God and being somebody who, you know, has faith and wants to be closer to God. It's
Oh,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
okay, if you want this, I just want you to know I'll give it to you. He said, you ask and
Yeah.
you will receive, but then don't complain to me when you get it. And that's the
Yeah.
part where I'm like, oh, that's the hard part.
Well, that's kind of exactly the boat I was in. I mean, I had to pull away from CrossFit because I was unhealthy physically. Like this is going to be TMI, but I didn't have like a menstrual cycle for many, many years, like probably like 6, 7 years. And it was because I was too thin. I wasn't eating enough for how much exercise I was doing. I was stressed out from school, and then after school I was stressed out from being a nurse, and I wasn't taking care of my body. I just was obsessed with going to the gym and killing myself. And I feel like when you are in an unhealthy level of fitness, like you are obsessed with it, you're just constantly grinding yourself. And some people have the more higher capacity of fitness where they can work out that much and their bodies can handle it. I mean, as far as they know, their bodies can handle it.
Yeah.
But for me, it wasn't like that. And my mom, mothers know best. She'd always tell me, like, you work out too much, you're too thin. And I didn't want to listen to her. I was like, I don't know. I'm fine. I'm a healthy weight. I eat enough. I'm not like all this. And so that for me, it was just like a point where I was just like, I would just pray, like, just please give me back my health, like I felt fine. I felt great, but when there's something that is supposed to be happening that doesn't happen, that's a problem. And so I would pray about it, and I would just like, and then I just I think it happened very slowly, and then things resolved, and it was just like my prayers were answered, and I had to sacrifice, big, like, I had to sacrifice, being able to do 10 strict pull-ups. I was okay with that though. Like I could probably barely do 2 now, 3 now, but it's like, you know what, who cares? Like it was what I wanted and it was what I needed. And like I said, like God, I feel like he truly placed that situation in my life to kind of pull me out from that obsessive, unhealthy, worshiping the gym, letting it define me sort of relationship and situation. So
I think that's like, yep.
yeah.
And it's interesting because that's not unusual of a situation. A lot of
Yeah.
female athletes that, and
Mhm.
it's like you said, it's people's bodies have different capacities, but it's also, if that was what you felt like, you know what, God's putting me in this position so that I can do this, and I'm, like, it's a whole different thing, but it's kind of almost too, I'm not smart enough to see the whole grand plan. I mean, no
Yeah.
matter what, I'm a sassy kid sometimes, and I want my own way, and I have conniption fits when I even know the plan, and it's like,
Mhm.
I don't want to do that way. And you're like,
Yeah, that's how I was. I was like, well, I don't wanna give up CrossFit. I wanna be a healthy woman and, be working out hardcore 6 days a week, monitoring what I eat and keeping a level of body fat so I can perform better, and eh, that's like that's what I wanted, but sometimes you can't have your cake and eat it too. Some people can, and you know what? I was like, that's not fair, but life isn't fair, you know? Some
but
people
not,
just have,
and not everybody can be a nurse. Not everybody can. So you know what I'm saying? So I like,
yeah, like we
but
all have our niche and our things that we can do and can't
yep.
do.
And
Hmm.
it's funny because you keep saying, I can't be fit and this and that. Mm, I would still say you're pretty fit, because if you
Yeah,
pulled most, but you're right. It's the way we're viewing it. And
yeah,
if it's part of you, and you're like, wow, I'm really happy and proud of myself because I do work out.
yeah. And
So
I
I
still
would,
am strong,
yeah,
but
I'm still strong. I work out. I would love to work out 6 days a
I'm
week, every
actually
week.
stronger than before, I guess
Well,
it's like give and take, you take away the cardio, you get stronger,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Well, but you're right. It's also I think you're more of, because CrossFit, the non-competitive side of CrossFit, and I think that's part of why they are, like, Glassman try to separate the CrossFit Games to CrossFit, because really CrossFit is about the general population, like the
Yeah,
everybody's, and that's one of the things I really liked, is that's why I was like, even though you had elite abilities in certain things, and it's just like, naturally Olivia has natural lifting abilities and snatch especially, it's, that doesn't mean she now has to do that, and that's the
yeah,
way she has to approach it, because if you start, like you said, sacrificing instead of prioritizing. I was speaking to one of my girls who's 17-year-old. She thinks she made the games as a teen again for the second time. Lily, she's amazing, but one of the things she does is she doesn't even use the word sacrifice. She's like, well, I prioritize. I'm going to do
yeah,
this instead of this. But you had different callings. Like your body was also trying to tell you,
yeah,
maybe not so much of this. And you were like, yeah, no, we're going to do more of this. And
yeah,
then, the hints became a little less subtle. And then it was, no, like,
hmm,
here we go. But you were available and open to that. And I think having a faith and a connection with God made you more available quicker, probably,
yeah,
than without, like, lasting damage.
hmm,
Because
absolutely.
there's I mean, I'm not a doctor or a scientist or anything, but I do know for years is not really a great thing.
Oh
um
no, I mean, I fought it for many years too when I was in college. Like, my friends were like, what? Like, that's crazy. And I went to so many doctors and none of them said that anything was wrong, like unhealthy. Like, so, but you have to kind of like eventually just, it, you have to eventually kind of come to a point where you're like, this isn't right, and kind of do things your own way or the way that you feel is right. And that's
yes,
kind of,
because people can tell you you're fine, but if you don't feel fine, it doesn't matter.
or if if something's wrong. And that's exactly what it was for me. I was like, you know what? You don't want to know one thing I haven't tried? I haven't tried toning it back, and I haven't tried, gaining some weight and, you know, eating a little bit more. Like I hadn't tried that because I was scared, and that was not, going to be helpful to me in terms of CrossFit. Like it always would have been helpful to just keep trucking forward, not pull back.
See, I think that's awesome. I mean,
Mhm.
and like I said, I didn't know that about you, and I appreciate you sharing that, because
Yeah, well,
that
that's what I
is,
think I told you. Like, I was very vague about it to everybody because who wants to go around and tell that? But I
yeah,
think I told you, like, yeah, I have some health issues, so I can't
yes,
come back to the gym 4 days a week. I can only come one, maybe two. And, I tell people that, and I was like this when I left Big Bad CrossFit, my old gym, I told people that, and they understood, but it was weird. Like it was a small gym, so I was pretty open with most of the members, like telling them, and
yeah.
but it is kind of like an uncomfortable thing. But I mean, I don't think it should be like a hush hush thing, in terms of, especially like in CrossFit, because most people, it's it's like a private thing, but it's a health problem,
It's
just like if you have a back problem, if you have a shoulder issue or depression or anything, like they're all health issues. So
yeah,
mhm.
and I think too, just like with all the stuff you were saying it is almost okay. Now it's not that big scary thing in the corner that I'm like,
Yeah,
I know it's in the room, but I'm not gonna look at it,
yeah,
and um it's something as simple as, it took me a while to be able to admit I was never, no matter what I did, I would never and have never been an elite athlete in anything.
mhm.
Um, I'm an elite coach, and the reason why I'm an elite coach, or what some of the qualities that makes me an elite coach, is because I will do whatever it takes to help. I will learn more. I will do, so the
Yeah,
qualities that create eliteness I have, just not in the way I wanted initially.
right,
I wanted to be like,
yeah.
oh yeah, I can maybe masters games and this and that. It should be easier because we're
Mhm.
older. And then you're like, no, that's adorable.
No, it's so tough.
That's not gonna happen. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you taking the time and your honesty, because it it really it's way more common. Well, first of all, it's more common than it should be.
Mhm.
But everybody's body responds differently to different things. Um,
Yeah.
but like you said, it just wasn't necessarily the overall healthiest way to view you.
Mhm.
And so maybe that's why now the no rush ease of being around you, because when we hung out more and I was around you more, it was an ease of being around you. And
Mhm.
if you're living your purpose and you're in tune with your purpose, there's no conflict, there's no friction, there's no,
Yeah.
and but I think the problem comes when we're living what we want to be our purpose, like I was
Yeah.
doing, but then you get a hint of, maybe this isn't your purpose, and you're like, no, but I
It's
want it
trial and error.
to. Yeah, and it's that, okay, but how mature that is for you to say, listen, that can't define me. Like, that's
Yeah.
not good. Like, I am a sum of all my parts, not just this part.
Yeah. You have to take care of all the parts, you can't.
You can't just
But
do one and not the
yeah.
other.
No, I mean, I think you're doing great. I mean, I think you're perfect to lead people. I feel like you're such a people person, and I think that you I feel like some people are, like you said, like someone who is more like an elite athlete, like they probably don't have the people skills to be a coach. Some of them do, but I feel like you have to like say like, yeah, like, for me, like I don't think I would ever be able to be like an elite CrossFitter. And you know what? As many people say like, oh, well, you're just doubting yourself. Anybody can do it. I kind of call bull crap on
Yeah.
that one in CrossFit. Like not everybody can do it or has the
No.
ability to do it. But, you can still say like, okay, well, that's not my, you know, I can still give back in some way. I can still excel in some other way, whether that's helping my fellow, like I know you know this because this is how Olivia is and this is how you are. I can help those around me. I can focus on helping them instead of just trying to advance my personal like CrossFit goals. But I mean, for the people who are more competitive, you kind of do have to put in more energy into yourself, you know? And then you can still have a good balance of both, you know, your own goals and then being there for others. But I mean, I could tell with you, I always noticed like you spent 90%, from what actually I would say like 100% of the time I was at the gym, you were coaching other people. You weren't working out. And the one thing I noticed going to CrossFit, no, like when you were there, like head coaching, I had never seen that. I had never seen a gym owner or coach, like head coach, like just coaching and not working out. And like, that was like, wow, like that's very selfless. Like, you know, I had never, you know, other people would be coaching classes, but you would be coaching others privately or on the side. So I just like think that right there just shows like that you really cared about the members and it wasn't about your fitness level. Like whatever you were doing, you're probably doing early in the morning or late at night for yourself, not all day, you know, or so I think that's like what makes a good coach is they care more, like especially a head coach, you know, they care just as much or if not more about others' fitness than as their own, you know. And that's hard to do because, you know, we're very selfish. Naturally, a lot of us are selfish and deep down, but I mean, I think the people who do that are naturally more selfless. So,
which is funny because I think that would be a great segue into what profession you're in, because you do put other people before you. And I appreciate that compliment because that is so wonderful that you noticed that. And I thank you very much.
Yeah, I think I told Olivia, like, wow, like he really coaches up that whole gym. Like every single time I went there, it's not like I was there all the time, but I'm like, obviously what goes on there one night most likely goes on there most the other night. So
But I just want to make sure you view that, you take that compliment yourself that you just gave me as well.
yeah. Well, thank you. No, I mean, trust me, I've been feeling a lot of love lately. A lot of people have been reaching out and letting me know that they appreciate me, which helps like a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a toss up between like, well, this is like what I signed up for, and well, like this really sucks, like, you know. So and also like I'm very grateful to be able to do what I do during this time. But
I thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
oh, no problem. You know, no problem. It's been awesome to talk to you, and I'm glad that you found kind of a niche that things you can do right now during this time and stay busy and helping others, because it is, especially when you're such a helping person like you can tell that it's hard to sit at home and, you know, but I mean, that is helping though. Like
I know.
realize, like, you just sitting home is helping, like, you know, that's your part to play, and, you know, that's staying healthy too. And but no, thank you. It's been awesome.
Well, was this your last day off?
I have tomorrow off
okay.
as well.
That's
and then
awesome.
I have 2 days on and then 3 days off. So,
that's good.
Yeah, I usually do like 2 on, 3 off, 2 on, 2 off, 2 on, 3 off sort of deal.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yep, it's nice to have. I like it that way.
That's wicked good. All right, well, so if you were to say, this is what I want to do. So if you could describe yourself as an animal, because this makes me giggle.
As an animal.
So I think this is what I'm going to do now. Is every time I finish an interview with somebody, I want to ask them, if you were an animal, what kind of animal would you be?
Ooh,
Magical, not magical, like whatever. But what animal would you be?
I would say, I don't know, something that's really high energy and probably like, that's a hard one. I don't know, something that's high energy and like is like all over the place, because I'm all over the place and I don't like to sit still. But not something that's like super hyper. I'm not like hyper. I wouldn't say like a spaz or anything. I don't know. That's a really hard one.
I know, and we can't end the connection until you tell me. So we're gonna, like, you have to think
I'm
about
gonna
it.
think. Just give me like a minute. I'll think about animals.
Yeah, you betcha.
I would say
Everybody thinks this would be super easy, but if they're really thinking about it, they're
it's
like,
not.
it's
I mean, I
not.
want to say like a poodle or something,
They're
but
very intelligent.
because I have a poodle. um, I guess poodles are very like, they love their family. Yeah. So I guess a poodle. I
Okay.
don't know. And they're active, and
I have
that most
a
dogs are
I have a
active.
Labradoodle, and dude he only wants to be doing stuff. He's like,
I love Labradoodles. They're
it's
so
been
pretty.
5 minutes. Can we walk again? And you're like,
That's awesome.
okay,
No.
please no.
Or I would say like, I don't know, maybe like maybe, I don't know. Maybe like a sheep. What's the sheepdogs? The ones that like herd.
The Australian sheepdogs?
Yeah, because I like being productive, and I feel like those are productive dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they're friendly. So I guess that would. I know dog is very typical, but I'm like, I don't want to say I'm like a reptile, because I'm not a cold person. So I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one. If I think of a better animal than the Australian sheepdog, I'll message it to you.
Okay. And remember, Australian sheepdogs are amazing.
Yeah, well, I just think that it's cool. Like, I feel like they're productive animals. They're animals that like work. They're productive. So I feel like that's me. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I
and they're
like.
intelligent,
I
and
have a hard.
they're loyal.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time like not being like I'm very like, I have a very hard time not like spent like I'm like, I like being lazy sometimes, but it's very hard for me to be. So I feel like that would be my animal choice.
And I think when I said no rush, I think a part of it's that because there's no friction in it. Because you're like, does that make more sense? So that's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's because you're doing you the right way. You're in line. Your beliefs, your actions are matching your beliefs. So even if you're busy, you're not rushing. It's no, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do this, and then I had and I think sometimes from an outside perspective, or other people might view it as like, wow, they're like, they have to be busy. They have to be busy, and it's kind of like, but if that's your person, like who you are,
Yeah.
if you're doing who you are, you're going to be at ease with that. So
Yeah, that's just what I feel right doing. And
yeah.
I mean, I'm not like super overachiever OCD. I'm not at all. I mean, even as my mom, I'm very like, I'm not. You should see this room I'm in. It's kind of messy. I'm not super perfectionist, but I just like staying busy. And
That's awesome. Now, what's one thing you've been doing for you?
during all this time,
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, working out for me is always something I do for myself. Um, I mean, working out is a very selfish thing in my opinion, but I think that everyone needs that. So yeah, working out. I do my Bible reading every day, and that's not really for me, though it is partially, but it's not solely for me. Yeah, I would say working out and just taking care of myself, still trying to eat right and, you know, stay connected with others too. You know, not
That's
isolating.
awesome. Yeah, no isolating. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and just being okay with the mundane of things right now. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out, and I appreciate it. And
Yeah, go give that poodle some love and be like, don't hate me because I'm a sheepdog.
well, I'm been staying in a hotel to stay away from my parents. So my dog, I can't see her, but hopefully soon. I'm sure this will pass over soon. So I hope you
I
stay.
appreciate that, because that's another thing. Like, you just say that flippantly, like, oh yeah, I'm not even staying with my family because, I don't want it. So
It's okay. It's kind of been nice, not gonna lie, like to have my own space, because I've lived with my parents for a long time. So it's kind of nice just to like, because sometimes it's hard to go home to my parents. Like I'm not
I
saying
know.
I love having them to support me. I'm very, very, very grateful and blessed. But it is kind of hard when you come home from work and they, ask you a lot of questions and, how's work? Like, what's going on in the hospitals? How's the COVID? Like, you're like, oh, I just want to go home and be alone. Like, I'm around people all day. So it has been nice, and it's a hotel, so it's nice. So don't feel bad for me. I don't, I'm totally fine. I feel safe here, and
That's awesome.
God has given me like a great place to stay, and way to keep my family like guaranteed healthy during this. Not guaranteed, but
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this.
Thank you for sharing you with everyone.
No problem. Yeah. Good luck, and I'm keep doing what you're doing, and let me know if there's any specific way I can pray for you, or if not, there's no specific way, just of course I will in general.
Yes, in general is always appreciated, because I don't want, that's one big thing I've been doing the last 5 months, is not necessarily directing my prayers specifically, because then that becomes a selfish prayer, and just being like, you know what? Let them feel your love. Like, boom.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Because we all can use more of his love and guidance, and just, or, realizing it's there. That sort of thing, opening our
it's not like
hearts.
he was withholding until I said please, but yes,
Yeah.
100%, like that's what I'm like, that's why when we do these things,
that harden our hearts to it. So all right, Jeff, well, stay healthy, stay safe, keep killing it with the workouts and the videos, and I'll reach out in a little bit and say hi, and
yes, please.
Thank you for doing that, because I will admit sometimes I'm bad at reaching out to people. So I'm sure Olivia can tell you that. So
She did.
That doesn't mean I'm not like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. It's just, that's the con of being busy, is, you kind of sometimes don't reach out to people until they reach out to you. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You have a great, awesome 2 days off still.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You too. Stay healthy. Okay.